Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to podcast number 36. Was it, Taro?
36.
Number 36 of Podspeed. I'm here, as usual, with my motley crew, James McKeown of No Breaking Podcast, and Taro Koki, who puts all this
Hello.
thing together from GT Channel. So, guys, how has your 2021 been so far?
Tara, you go first with your surfing stories.
Oh my God.
Surfing
Are we
stories.
going
Yeah,
for the surf's been good. That's good.
that's really good.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, I think we're heading towards a good way, don't you think? I mean, we have.
Are you feeling a better vibes than from 2020? Are you feeling this year is going to be better?
Well,
Well,
I'm
it
just
kind of it started out kind of, we tripped over a little bit, but
Oh, you do have the residue from 2020, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
There's a
there's going
little
to be some
stumble,
carryover.
but I
Right.
think we're back on track. I think the both feet are, moving, left and right, not both at the same
And
time.
and I think our listeners and viewers would be happy to know that Podspeed is still going strong, and 2021 is going to be the breakout year, right?
I thought last year
obviously,
was a breakout year.
Well, this is
obviously,
the year we go super high.
we take it to 11. Is that we saying it
We're
turned up to
taking it
11?
to 11. That's right.
That's good.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it was at 10, full
Yeah.
volume, but now we're just cranking it up
Right.
one
We're
more.
not
Yeah.
on. We're not just on the starting team now. Now we're going to be all stars.
Yep.
Then MVP. So right.
Sounds good.
So James,
Sounds
how's
good.
your 2021 been so far?
Oh, it's
It's
been
only
a
been 3
busy.
weeks, but
I mean, I'm just waiting for winter to kick in because it doesn't feel like it here in Southern California at the moment. I mean, it's been a hot this last week, and even today it's warming up.
are you kidding? This is our winner, man.
With all my studio lights, I mean, I feel like I'm in a Russian sauna right now. I'm just waiting
Oh,
for someone to come and beat me with some burlap.
Yeah,
I'm
it's better
sweating.
than your
I'm
homeland of
sweating
England.
here.
Yeah.
Well, England's been getting so much snow. All I hear from my family over there is they've just been getting snow every day, which is like unheard of. They got like 6 inches and then 8 inches.
James, where are
Unbelievable.
you from in England again?
The
Where's your hometown?
northeast of England. So I'm from Middlesbrough, in the northeast of England.
Middlesbrough. Okay. Northeast. Oh, okay. That side. All right.
The best side, Sam, is what we like to say.
Okay. How close are you to like Scotland?
I mean, was a couple of hours drive away. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I
So
mean,
that's
the
that is
United
pretty far
Kingdom is
north.
not a particularly big place.
Well, I mean, Scotland, when you're driving through it, it feels really big because there's really nothing there. Hey, I used to
How
live there, so I could say that.
how
I
long
love
does it take to
love
go
Scotland.
from the southern tip to the northern tip of the island
Of the
It's
UK.
of the UK? Yeah.
Great Britain. Oh God, that I would say that's probably a 3 days drive. No, what do you think?
It's like 12 hours, just over 12 hours, Tara, to do it.
No, it's longer than that, isn't
It's
it?
not. It's
Is
not.
it?
Land's
Oh,
End to John
okay.
O'Groats is 600 and some miles, so it's about 12 hours to drive. But it's only longer because obviously you don't get on the main M road,
Right,
which is the
right.
M1 to go until you get like just north of London. And then obviously when the M drops off, when you get into Scotland, then it takes longer to drop down. So it's about 12 hours. So it's not 3 days, unless Sam's like driving at Sam's speed, which can be explained. Yes.
Oh, I like taking stops along the way. So anyways, today we wanted to start the podcast off with some of our scoop stuff, and instead of looking at some of the future stuff, we thought we go and take a look at what was going on at the Tokyo Auto Salon, which just happened. I think it was last week, right, Taro?
Well,
A few days ago.
did it
No,
happen?
well, when I say
It happened
when the
virtually, right?
manufacturers, showed their cars in their news releases, because of course the auto salon itself was canceled, right, because of the COVID. So so here are some of the cars that we would have seen
Mhm.
had they had the auto salon, but they released them virtually. And I guess we'll start with Toyota first. Yeah, Toyota wanted to show this Supra. It is their new GR Gazoo Racing brand Supra with a few custom parts added on. I think it looks awesome. I am not a big Supra guy. I think the looks is not to my liking, but I think it's cool just because it's different. I don't know how you guys feel. So I thought the last Supra was the same way. I wasn't a big fan of its looks, but it is distinctive. But I think the Gazoo Racing, the GR stuff, really makes it mean, gives us some pop. You guys think, and a lot of times, guys, that Tokyo Auto Salon, there are some tacky stuff out there, with some crazy bodywork. You go, what the hell? But
Yeah, definitely.
this, I think, is right on the border. I think it's right there where it's still okay.
What exactly did they do for like the audio only audience?
Sam? What? This? Yeah, no, they just. Yeah. I think they just released the photos and said, "Hey, these are Tokyo Auto Salon lineups."
Okay, so it's got like it's got like a front, it's like a canard / diffuser and
for this, yeah,
right. Rear like spoiler.
Yeah,
it's got the same arrow, and it looks like they have the rear spoiler as well, just similar to the.
And there are some.
It looks like it's got a ducktail as well, judging from this, looking at this image right there.
And there are some tweaks underneath, but not major tweaks. I think some springs, some handling components. I don't know if these wheels are exclusive to this car, but the wheels are different. So
I will say the wheels look particularly nice.
They do. I love these wheels. I really do. Black. Yeah. So this was one of the cars they were going to show, and I'm going to go through these pretty quick because there's a few of them on. That I highlighted.
Would you take this so you'd get the Supra then, Sam?
With this kit, yeah, I would rather have this Supra than the. Well, of course, I would rather have this Supra than the base Supra, but yeah, if I were going to have a Supra, this one I would be enticed to buy as is, as looks right here. What about you?
I mean, I really like the lines with the blacked out around the pillars. That make it, that join it. I think it looks really good, especially with the tint on there. I just think it looks like a really good looking car, if that makes sense, in this configuration with the lights on.
It doesn't look overdone or tacky, does it?
Exactly. The carbon fiber pieces. It looks really nice, really tidy.
And I would take it in this color, even though I'm not a big fan of yellow cars like one of our friends, James Chen, who loves yellow cars, but I would take it in this color.
Yeah, it's a good color. Yeah, I like it. It's not too tacky.
Black.
Yeah.
So I think it pops nicely. I'd give it credit. I mean, I think that I like the Supra, as and it's always nice to see the different things they can do to make it look good. And I think it looks nice and racy for the road, one might say.
Okay, and going from this car, another car is the GR Yaris. Of course, the GR Yaris is like one of the most talked about cars in the last, I guess, a couple months, right? We even talked about with Arisa Mizuhara, the drifter.
This is a GR Yaris?
Yeah, and with bodywork by Modelista.
Really? This is a GR Yaris? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how it's. I mean, it's a Yaris. It doesn't look like a Yaris, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Is it I don't think. Are you sure this is the Gazoo racing variant of the GR Yaris? Sam?
I think so. The information was kind of, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I could check online, but the Modelista bodywork is what was the big thing on here, where Toyota collaborated with Modelista, who are like the bodywork specialists, right? And they produced this car. So this was, and Tokyo Auto Salon, it's pretty much, when it first started out, it was pretty much just for tuners. And then like with SEMA, the manufacturers started to really get involved because of the popularity of the car, of the show. So this one is a kind of a collaboration on both.
And this has got no hybrid or it's not electric at all. This one, because it's got the blue. It's got the blue Toyota.
As far as I know, this one is
I just asked because it has the blue Toyota symbol, which usually is their designation for hybrid.
But yeah, I don't. This one is. Almost.
I mean, to me, this looks like a mini RAV4.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It looks bigger. Well, you got to remember too, it is a photo. So
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. My looking at this, it looks like a variant, a smaller variant of the RAV4, since I just had the RAV4 Prime. So it looks similar to that in regard to how it's with the colorations and the styling.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Yaris Cross.
Okay, Yaris Cross. So it's the off-road version-ish, right?
Yeah.
So this would be.
Oh, did you just look it up, Taro?
Yeah, it's the Yaris Cross with GR parts and Modelista packages. So it's so it's not the GR Yaris.
Oh, so GR Yaris Cross.
The Yaris
Yes.
Cross then, is that the same as the Corolla crossover, Taro? Is it built the same platform?
Yaris Cross is it's a compact SUV, right? So
yeah, but does it still on the Corolla platform, or is it a different platform? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but it's it's like the Mazda CX-3. It's that class.
I don't think it was, James. I think the Corolla has its own platform, even in Japan, and the Yaris is on its own. So, because so. But anyways, what do you guys think about how this thing looks? I love I think it looks great. I think it's very sporty, very macho, very has a lot of character and presence. That's the word I was looking for. So
yeah, I like it when how the Japanese tuners soup up their vans and the SUVs. Like here it's mostly like performance vehicles, right? Like sports cars. But in Japan they're really into kind of styling up other types of cars as well. So this is I think that kind of fits in there. It's an SUV, but it's got really aggressive. It's got a really aggressive look to it. So I like it. I'd go for it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have one in my garage, but I mean, I like it. So
yeah.
James likes it too. James likes these. You like these?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I still think it looks like a mini little RAV4.
And you like those little crossover things. You review them all the time, so you must like them.
Yeah. Just to clarify, folks, it's a similar platform. It's a GAB versus the GAC platform. So this is the GAB.
Okay, so they're different, but they're in the same family.
They're very similar. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Very good.
Just to clarify.
Thank you.
Sense the magic of the internet.
And then most of these cars,
good fact checking, James. Good fact checking.
Yeah, good fact checkers. I don't want to be known as the fake news guys of the internet.
Yeah, we don't want Sam fake news Matani.
No. Sam Segal Matani is what we're happy with.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, and then so going to one of Toyota's, it's not really a subsidiary, but Toyota pretty much bought the company Daihatsu to make and help with their K-car business. And if you guys know, I'm sure all of our viewers and listeners know what K-cars are, the light cars, mini cars, 660, no bigger than a 660cc engine, and it has to kind of fit in these small dimensions. And if it does, it's okay. It could be marketed as a K-car. And the first one is one of our favorites all time ever, because it's been around since I think K-cars have been around. It's been around for many years now, is the Daihatsu Copen. And the company is called, of course, Daihatsu, which I think we had here for a few years, and then they kind of closed up shop really quick.
Oh, really? They were here, huh?
Daihatsu was here for, like, I remember when I was at Road and Track, they were here for a few years, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, I can't remember, but yeah, they weren't here long, and then then they went right back to Japan, and then Toyota pretty much bought the company, and a controlling stake, and now Daihatsu is pretty much the premier maker of K cars right now in Japan.
And they do the trucks as well.
That's trucks, and we'll get to those too. Yeah, the Daihatsu trucks. Yeah. So, anyways, the Copen is one of the coolest. It's rear drive. It's it does come in roadster form, and this version of the Copen was one they were going to show at Tokyo Auto Salon. As you can see, I don't think there's even a top to this. This is just a
no windshield either. Half a windshield.
Yeah, a very small one. Yeah. So this is your kind of pretty much track ready one, So and with rear wheel drive, I mean, this car, I drove a version of Copen a while back, about, my God, must have been 6, 7, 8 years, more than that, maybe 10 years ago. And dude, these things are really great to drive. And this car was pretty much the car this and the Honda Beat, which is a K car made by Honda, which looks like it seems like a miniature NSX, which is really cool. Or what kind of I used as the model for the Cometa Maestro, which appears in my novel. So this is pretty much the car I was. Why are you laughing? To get how I got my plug?
Some good plugs there, Mr. Matani.
Exactly.
Good plugs.
Nice.
But anyways, what do you guys know?
Nice and smooth, Sam Matani.
Exactly. So since we have this time, I would like to know, what do you guys think about K cars in general? And then what do you guys think about K sports cars like this? James, why don't you take it away first?
I mean, I love K cars. I mean, I talk about this all the time about how much I really do like K cars. The Copen, I mean, it's a particular favorite for me, also a particular favorite of Nigel McKeon, San Vitale. So he will be happy to know that you also speak highly of the Daihatsu Copen. This, what I would consider, I'd say, like a speedster, hot rod speedster variant with its low slung windscreen and the rear vision mirror on the dash is a lot of fun. I mean, the wheels on this look great. I think it looks super fun. It is one that you just want to jump in and just have a blast. I mean, we talk about Miatas obviously being small, but when you compare it against a K car, I mean, then you see what really small is. I mean, I'd love to see one of these driving around here, especially on the 405 or the 101 and like nipping in and out of traffic.
Well, out here you do see them once in a while. Some people have brought them in, you know. So
yeah, Top Rank imports a bunch.
Yeah, Top Rank has an AutoZam, you know, the Mazda one right in there.
But I'd say no, a modern one as opposed to an imported one. It'd be nice to see them back on, but I can't see them coming back anytime. But this, I mean, don't they have to, aside from the spacing requirements, the engine requirements, isn't there a pricing requirement too they have to follow?
That's a good question. Taro would know. You live there. Is there a pricing requirement? I never heard of that.
I think they do. You know, their size, and the displacement has to be like 1.6, right?
660 cc.
No, 6. Yeah, not even a liter.
There's actually a good video that Justin did on K cars on gtchannel.com, so go watch it on gtchannel.com.
Oh, good plug, smooth plug. But I think the pricing might be just limited to the trucks as opposed to the actual K sports cars. I think looking back now. But I mean, this looks great. I mean, I love it. I'd love to drive them all.
What about you, Taro?
What I like about K cars, I mean, I like them. What I like about them is that most of them are manual transmission, right? So so they're super fun to drive. I mean, I used to when I used to help out my uncle's factory, he had a little van. It's like literally like a box, right? And then you can like reach over and touch the other window. It was a small little van, but it was super fun to just like drive around town because it was just so, you know, small and nimble. The only thing I don't like about them is that it is small, and you when you're like when you're next to big cars, I mean, it's pretty intimidating. So I don't know about wanting to drive one on the 405.
I'd be all about it. You know, Taro, you jump in right next to me and we nip this thing around the 405. You'd love it. We'd be in and out of zipping in and out of lanes, indicators on, over, going left, right. You would be splattered like a bug on some radiator grill or some big truck.
Oh yeah, there's some truck would just run over us and wouldn't even realize they hit us.
Yeah, I like this too, James, but I disagree with you about the wheels. I don't like these wheels that much. They almost look like the wheels like you know, those
like Rhys.
The Prius. Oh gosh, I hope they're not, because I don't want to insult them. But you know, like the guys who take off the cap of the Prius and they have the black wheels underneath. Yeah, you ever seen those?
You mean Steelies? I can't believe you're comparing these to Steelies. Oh my word, that's unbelievable.
Well,
Taro, I think they are. I think you're.
They look like Rhys, aren't they?
Okay. Well, I love Rhys wheels, so
on the nose.
And they could be, because you know it is Tokyo Auto Salon, so. So anyways, I think this car is cool, especially with the little lower windshield and the, you know, track ready look. So
you better move off this before Sam upsets more people.
Yeah, exactly. So going from one convertible to another, how about a convertible truck?
I saw this one too.
This is called the Hi-Jet. What's it called? The Hi-Jet Sportsa. And you can see it's got Yokohama and Ray's sponsorship there on the side with the sticker. But I thought this was so cool that I was thinking, damn it, if there was a Tokyo Auto Salon, this thing would have been one of the first ones I would have seen.
This would be an awesome surf mobile. That's just like going from the house just to the beach.
Yeah, it's you know, and if you could put it in a garage, because it doesn't look like it comes with a top. So
yeah, but the back is like a truck bed, so it's super cool. You know, you just like throw your stuff in the back. Yeah,
I really love to see this, like, just see how much space there is back there. I don't know if you'll be able to put a surfboard back there, Taro. Or I guess it'll stick out the back, right?
Yeah, it'll stick out the back.
What do you mean? You've got it's a truck bed, so you've got unlimited storage.
Unlimited storage.
You can go vertically, horizontal, unlimited storage at this point.
Okay, now James, I got to ask you: are those exhausts on the side there, on the bottom?
Of course,
I mean,
yeah, you would have come
dude,
straight
this
out the
is
side.
supposed to be a 660cc truck, so
I
there's
just
like,
imagine this revving to like 13,000 RPM.
I
It'd be
know,
so
yeah,
fun.
exactly.
So Sam, this is a high jet truck, right? So
Yeah, it's
normally,
called Hi-Jet Sportza.
so for those, who have never seen or experienced a K car. So usually K cars are used like in town by for work, right?
Yeah,
so
for
like
small businesses, like
small business, like, or a sales guy, like a printer
Right.
company guy would run around town, delivering like
Right.
stuff. And I don't know if you noticed this, Sam, but a lot of like fruit or vegetable, like
that's what it says on,
butchers,
the
they use,
side.
and
Laguna.
on the side here next to 6, it says Laguna Seca. And Seca in Japanese is a fruit store.
That's
like
very
fresh.
clever.
Yes, and Laguna Seca. So
Yeah, Laguna Seca, the racetrack.
The racetrack, yeah.
Laguna Seca is
Seca.
Laguna Fruit Store.
Fruit store.
Yeah, so this is
I thought that was
Taro's,
very clever.
This is Taro's fruit delivering truck. That's what he does on his free time. So
yeah, I love this one.
yeah, so this is
it's so cool.
And and the wheels are kind of on this one. I love the wheels on this. I mean, it matches the. Believe it or not, these damn sporty wheels match the truck. That's what it looks like. It just. So this thing is like impeccable. This could have been if they were showing cars. This, like I said, this was the first one I would go see, and this is probably my favorite one out of them. So, and it looks like you guys like them too, right?
Yeah, definitely. 100% like this one. Yeah.
So we'll go from this one to the last Daihatsu vehicle because we think K cars are so cool. This little mini vehicle called the Taft Crossfield, and this is pretty much your little Bronco. Your little it's got look at a winch in front. I mean, this is you got the rack on the roof. This is for your serious off-roading. I don't know if it's four-wheel drive. I'm sure it is. I don't have the specs for it. I just found these images, but it was so cool. I just go, I have to put this in here too. So
this is like a Hummer H5.
H5, but very, very small. I mean, I wish, we could I had someone standing next to this just to show you how small this thing is, but yeah, it is small, but those tires are pretty macho, the wheels are kind of cool. So so I thought so Daihatsu just really came up with some really good stuff for Auto Salon this year, the non-Auto Salon. So, but this is something, Taro, this would make a great surf truck because you could throw those on the top. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like overlanding, look at you got the big lights on the top, and the roof rack is pretty cool. You got the winch in the front. I mean, you can take this into the hills and the mountains.
So this is called the California Crossfield. So it's a really cool car. And then not to be outdone by Daihatsu was Honda saying, hey man, we could do that too. So they came up with this thing called the and this is electric too, guys. HEV Crossstar Custom. So these crazy names. So with this, they raised the suspension and added all-terrain tires to the fit. This N-Van, as they call them, was designed for operation as you were saying, Taro, as a food truck, or and for it's just anyone doing light adventure, going outdoors, and they have and they enjoy the fit, around town. They could take this one off road. You could see the wheels are pretty basic, but just basic but custom for outdoor. I love the front. The
got extra lights on there, doesn't it? Like fog lights.
Yeah, they look like they're extra lights. I don't know if they're sensors or lights, but they have the great Yakima roof rack, which I know, Taro, I think you're a customer, right? So
no, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you had you got racks on your roofs on all of them, don't you?
I will be a proud user if someone wants to send me some, but no.
Or if they or if they sponsor, right? Or sponsor.
Exactly.
So why don't you guys give me your take on this?
Sorry, you go first.
I like it. The only thing with electric cars and off-roading is the what are you?
Well, I'm sorry. This is actually, I think, whatchamacallit, guys, hybrid. It's not.
Oh, it's a hybrid.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a hybrid.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was the only concern that I would have, like just going into the, where there's like no water, no electricity, no nothing, and going in there.
I mean, be stuck in the jungle.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like, you can just go get a, go to the gas station and come back and fill it up, right? I mean, with an electric car, you're really, really screwed if you're in there, especially if you're overlanding or going in the woods where a tow truck can't come save you. But if it's not, I mean, it's a kind of a cool family car type car, but it's all decked out with, the Toyo all-terrain, open country, aggressive.
But is this what a fit should be, though? I mean, is this the fit kind of trying to be too much?
It's a fit for everything.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
It's a good application.
That's why it's called the fit, huh?
Yeah.
It's a good fit, Mr. Mitani.
Yeah, it's a good application, especially with like even in Japan, like people are becoming very diverse in how they enjoy their time. So this is a good, good proposal, on how to enjoy your car life.
Yeah. Okay. So going from there, let's jump to what Nissan.
What about James?
I'm sorry, James. I thought you had your 2 cents in. Go ahead, James.
I mean, I like it. I do like it looks like the Pelican racks, Pelican cases on top there. So you've got a little bit of room there, bit of storage. I mean, I think it's fun. I like the idea of it. I mean, you don't have too much ground clearance, I will say in this. So I might not want to take it on, say, the Rubicon Trail. That might be, there might be a bit of clearance issues there with it. I'm not sure how much suspension travel you have.
Yeah, and like Taro said, if this was an electric car, you might get stuck out there. So you don't with the wolves.
And is this a 4-wheel drive or a front-wheel drive car?
I think this one should be converted to 4-wheel drive, but I don't know. That's a good question. I'm just here to show the photos, man.
I will say the colors.
Stop asking questions.
Yeah, damn.
The colors are interesting on it with this matte finish that they have, but I just don't think the lighting maybe shows it off as well as it could. I think that it could be maybe a little bit more like a sand color. So I like that about it as well.
Okay, I think it's neat, but I don't think this is something they need to build or even offer as an option. I think. But
this, on the other hand, they definitely.
Now this will be interesting. I can't wait to get your takes on this. But this is the NV350 Nissan NV350 Office Pod concept that they were going to show at Tokyo Auto Salon, and this was part of about several cars Nissan was going to show, but this one got the most buzz when they came out with it. Jeez, I mean this thing was really all these photos guys were offered like within the last 3-4 days. So this is really fresh.
Yeah.
But this is say again?
It's like the COVID mobile, right? I mean, you want to go work.
It kind of is, right? So guys, this office pod concept features an office with a computer desk and a cool little office chair, that lets you sit right there at your desk. And it fits neatly into the back of this caravan, allowing you to work pretty much anywhere, right? And especially if you have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all that connection. I mean, you really don't even need to have an office. I mean, this could be it. You could just go into your driveway and start working away. What's also cool about this, and there is, I don't think I included a photo of it, but if you guys look it up online, I mean, the Office Pod, a Nissan Mobile, you'll see that it has a rooftop deck where there's a chair that you could like get some rays, throw, have a beer. So you could totally lounge on the roof when you need to take a break from your work. So
how do you get on the roof?
Oh, there's a way to get on. I don't know, but there's a lounge chair up there. Okay, so it has a lounge chair. I mean, and a fold-out umbrella up there. Okay, so you could like just really relax up there when when you need. Go ahead.
I was going to say, does it have any solar panels on the roof as well, Sam, or is that
something different? I did not see anything about having solar panels, but you know what, James? If it doesn't, I think that's a damn good idea.
My only concern.
So you have unlimited power, of
course,
renewable power. That's awesome. Awesome idea.
My only concern is I'm not sure how tall this lady is sitting in the back in her moccasins and her winter jacket. So I'm pretty sure that I might have struggle fitting in that size, and I guarantee you I would definitely stand up and bump my head more than once.
James,
in that
all you have
pod.
to do is get a smaller chair fitted in them. That's all.
I'll be on my knees, Sam, at that point.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But you're right. The lady is Japanese. She's Asian. She's probably not a huge lady. I don't think.
Yeah, but that I'm looking at some other pictures, but that umbrella is not like an umbrella for rain. That's like a big parasol. It's like huge. It's like it's like a tent.
Yeah, you can enjoy like a nice martini there, you know, if you're not driving.
Doesn't like and have a good cup of tea, and I know how much I like a good cup of tea.
Ah, the British, they always have to have their damn tea breaks. I'm sorry, did I say damn? Always have to have your tea breaks. No, when I was living in London, man, oh my God, we broke for tea it seemed like every 10 minutes. You know, spot of tea.
Every meeting you need a tea.
Yeah. So you see the weird body work, that's they say that's totally just for the show. It might even be decals, taking a look at it. But otherwise, I don't know, if you have an NV, looks like, I mean, if you really wanted this, you could almost, you know, have some tuner shop, whatever, you know, a body guys make
this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's a great idea. Now, here's my question to you guys, both being, you know, professionals who travel and stuff. And Taro, you know, you have pretty active recreational activities like, you know, like surfing and stuff. Is this something that makes sense to you? Is this something that you could actually use? Because, you know, I mean, now we don't need to be in the offices. Like, you know, that's what COVID is pretty much.
taught us. I think so. Yeah.
Looks like this lady's having a Zoom meeting, doesn't it?
It does. I can see her screen. She has a bunch of people that she's talking to. Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Is this something that they should actually offer?
Well, you know, what we see a lot, like at camp, like in California, where we live, you go to like these state parks or the beaches or these camping grounds, you see a whole bunch of those, the Mercedes, the Sprinter vans, and like these Dodge freight-ish vans that have been modified for like outdoor usage. And you see people like working in there too with their laptops and stuff like that. And that was like huge at the campgrounds this year. Like people were just like bringing their wife, you know, just they were just working from these campgrounds. So this is not actually a bad idea. I mean, usually like the auto salon things are like concepts usually and like pretty far-fetched, but
these are all concepts. So
but I wouldn't rule this out though. I mean, especially now with more people not returning to the office and working from home. I mean, why not?
Well, and then like Taro, I mean, you're going to San Onofre, you know, you just shoot, you know, I'll just kind of, you know, hit the waves in the morning, and then maybe in the afternoon for 3 or 4 hours, whip this thing out, and start working a little bit, and then do your, you know, early evening surf session, you know, right? Without ever worrying about work.
Yeah, you can literally work from 9 to 5. No problem, you know, hit, you know, do whatever you want in between, lunch break or whatever.
And James, you could see that right behind the lady, there is like a hot pot thing. And then there's a cup.
There is a cup.
Right? I mean, she is having her tea as she's working.
I think that the only downside for this one is it looks like to me that the scale of it is a little smaller than, say, the Mercedes Sprinter van.
It is
a little bit.
Oh, it is. NV is smaller, you know.
The NV is way smaller.
So that's what I mean. But this one's got some nice chunky tires on. I like the wheels. The green center caps look fantastic. I do like the bodywork. It looks really good. But I think I might be a little bit too gaijin size for this vehicle in particular.
What if they offered this in something like the Mercedes, the Sprinter, or something bigger?
I mean, I think it's if I don't see myself like going out and driving out for the day and needing this. This would be if I wanted to like go away for a few weeks on vacation kind of truck. I wouldn't see this as one that needs this for a day.
Remember last, James, where you took your little road trip? What was that, last year?
Yep.
Would have been cool if you had this, because you could have did our podcast on this.
I mean, it does have its advantages, Sam, that obviously had to being able to take your home with you. But the Lexus that we had that was able to go was very, very luxurious, very sporty, and was able to get us to and from each hotel.
You are so pampered. So
if I wanted to go more off the beaten track, maybe this, but I still think that I'd probably have a few more accoutrements than this one, lady has with her moccasins and her winter jacket and her kettle. So I still think I'd need something a little bigger than this, but I do like the idea.
Yeah.
But
This car is not that small though. It's not
and you can't see what's on inside. There might be a little fridge in there, a little a printer. I mean,
James, I've seen Gaijin bigger than you squeeze themselves into a Volkswagen van. So with the same kind, like the little old-fashioned the van. If they can do that, this NV is big enough for you, I think.
I think it's cool. I think it's kind of cool. Like
you and your wife and Kaiju Kiwi. This is.
But let's say like three of us say, hey, let's take a road trip. We have one of these each. We go to Sequoia.
Only if I drive. We can only go on a road trip if I drive.
You would never get there, mate. And then, but anyways, with this, I mean, I could see having. The only thing is, it's like it is a vehicle and office space for one, right? So it's kind of lonely, but other than that, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, but you can drive out. The kids could be running around.
Yeah,
and you can be working, right?
Yeah, it would be interesting. I didn't see any photos of it with it in. I mean, there doesn't seem to be too much space inside because this thing fits in and slides out. But I think it is kind of cool if you're taking a trip with maybe just you and your wife, or you and your girlfriend, or you and your husband, or your partner, or whatever, and and you guys could take turns on this, or because I don't know how much space there is for other passengers.
Yeah, there's nowhere for like 4 people or even 3 people to sleep. Like if it was just this one girl, she can probably just close this up and then sleep, on a cot or whatever inside.
Well, no, but isn't that why you take a tent? If you had a tent, right? I mean, if you guys
yeah.
I mean, this would be ideal if you're going camping. Yeah,
true.
True. All right, but I give it a thumbs up. I think it's a great kind of a cool idea, especially if it's gonna. I don't know if this one's electric, but once we get into electric or hybrid stuff, I mean, it's just a nice road trip out. You can still work. Kind of cool.
I think I like the outside more than the inside. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well, you're just upset that you don't think there's enough. It's big enough that I mean.
That's my main problem with it.
Yeah. Well, it is a concept. It is a concept. So anyways, the last thing I want to get to. No, we're going to save that for next week. The last thing I want to get to is, or we could come back to that if we have time left over, because I think for the first time ever, we have been betrayed by our guest, right, Taro?
I don't think I would put it that way.
Oh, no, okay, so we have been forsaken. How's that?
Let's go to the next car.
Always the diplomat, Mr. Taro. You know what? It's not a car that I want to do. I want to highlight. Yes, that is it. I want to highlight this thing called. I'm so sorry. The images are so small, but this is a technology from Panasonic that is. Oh, thank you, James.
There you go.
Yes.
If only someone sent me high quality images, it would be so much better.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But this one is, and you know what, James, if you see anything else on the internet on this, I mean, there's multiple images. I only sent you one because I didn't know we were going to cover this, but feel free to just slap them up there. But Panasonic's, this is a technology from Panasonic due in 2024. So, we still got about 3 more years, but this thing is called their augmented reality heads-up display. And it's pretty much exactly what it describes. It's on your windshield. It recognizes the road, buildings, all that stuff. It will send you navigation instructions right on the road. So, I mean, there's no way you'll miss a turn now. It's right there on the road. It recognizes bicyclists, trash cans, anything, and it'll tell you exactly what they are. Pretty much almost like those, like virtual reality stuff you see in like sci-fi movies now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
excellent.
Yeah. So what it does is it with their volume optimization, which is Panasonic, because we all know they make very good stereos and head units and all that stuff. They have great imaging technology, and this features AI technologies from its Spider cockpit domain controller. So they are already, in the field of cockpit stuff, car-related stuff when it comes to artificial intelligence. And this is just taking everything one step further. On their thing, it says that it does recognize objects, pedestrian detection, mapping, route guidance. You could share information with other drivers, including determining if something is a vehicle, pedestrian, or some other random item, like a trash can, I say. So this was shown at CES, not Tokyo Auto Salon, but CES, a virtual CES, because CES was also the physical show was canceled, which usually takes place in Las Vegas, last week? I think
Yeah.
So Panasonic's was going to show this thing, but they showed it virtually or online instead. I thought this was really cool. So I mean, I go, whoa, this is really sci-fi stuff now coming to life. Stuff, boom, just kind of appearing on your windshield. A guy who does not like heads-up displays. Those heads-up displays, I usually find a way to turn them off because I just don't, I don't care about the speed limit. I just don't like it.
It's very distracting.
Deterring my vision of the road. Yeah. But this actually helps you with what you're seeing on the road, which I think is cool. So, I mean, it recognizes on this photo, it recognizes the crosswalk. It recognizes that middle line. And they'll have arrows where if you put in a destination, it'll go. So anyways, I think this was cool. So that's why
So how does this work though? I mean,
that's a good question.
It's from Panasonic, right? So are they going to be working with the OEs, or is it going to be like an aftermarket thing where they have to replace the entire windshield? Or I'm just curious how they plan to.
I think it's both
launch
at this point. Yeah, we're talking 3 years away, but I think it's both. I think you might find them in some vehicles manufacturers as original equipment, because I mean, to install this in your car would be, I think, a big deal. I think it would cost a lot of money. So yeah,
because you need a special windshield, right, in order to
exactly. So yeah, exactly. Or well, maybe not probably a windshield, and of course, that your dash, right, where it reflects everything up there. So so yeah, so I see this more of an OE kind of a thing, but and maybe I'm sure knowing Panasonic, they can offer it. If you have like a Bentley or something that doesn't offer, and you're loaded, and you want this in there. yeah.
I'm sure like
James is all, I could use that on my Bentley. So yeah. No, your McLaren. No.
James doesn't like it.
Yes,
James,
correct.
You don't like it?
I've got zero interest in this whatsoever. No, absolutely no interest in this product. Sorry, Panasonic. I love you guys, but
okay. Why?
I don't like head-up displays. I don't like the idea.
I don't like heads-up displays either, but
seeing something there that's not there, it's just not for me. I'm old school in that regard. And if I don't need someone to give me directions, a computer to give me directions of where I need to go, I don't need to go there. I can get there myself. Just give me the roadmap. I can plan it down.
Wait. You don't use nav systems?
No, sir.
No. James prints out the maps. I go on MapQuest.
MapQuest, put the directions in.
Taro, you're kidding, right? You're just teasing,
full color.
Right? Taro, you're kidding, right?
I've got books of them.
I was kidding about it, but I hope he's not doing it.
I think he is.
No, I just don't need I don't use the navigation. No, I don't use the navigation. I know where it is, and then I get that from there. You should know how to get around the city.
No, but what if somewhere you've never been?
Yeah, what if you're in a new city?
Well, you just go there and you figure out where it is, and you get there. It's not that difficult. And then if you're having trouble, you just go to a traffic light, you wind down your window, you ask someone else to wind down their window and say, can you tell me where this is? And they give you directions, and you meet a friend.
Then he follows you to your hotel and then robs your car while you're sleeping.
I didn't know James was 120 years old.
It's the way to go. You always make friends that way. It's the best way to be.
I think Nigel right now, probably, if he was listening, go, oh God, no, James. Shh.
Well, he's not supposed to endorse, Google Maps or iPhone or stuff like that, because he's got his day job. So,
but I think in the future, Taro, believe it or not, I mean, it might be the end of privacy laws as we know it, but if I am on the same network or we're on the same sharing or whatever, like if you happen to drive by, maybe it'll tell me, Taro Koki, right? Your car, you're in that car or something.
They're already tracking all of us anyway, Sam.
But anyways, well, I think it's cool. I thought it was really cool. James doesn't, but it's okay. That's why we're here. That's
why
what
we're
makes
all
the show
different.
special.
Exactly, we're all
Carl,
different.
don't
We're
you
all-
think it's cool though?
Yeah, I don't like looking up and down. I don't like having to
Exactly.
look
Yeah,
at my
me too.
iPhone. I mean, it's frankly, it's dangerous, right? I mean, you see all these like Uber guys too, like they're just looking at their phone all the time, and because those guys actually need to know where they're going too. They do it for work, and they're going to a different address all the time. These delivery guys too. I mean, this would be great for them. They keep their eyes on the road, right? And the blue line tells them where to turn exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
great.
yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it's a great safety feature.
Well,
Well,
it's
2 out of 3 for Panasonic on this one then. So
no,
it's not
yeah,
too bad.
no. When James, breaks into the 20th century, I think he'll like it. So, anyways, okay. So, anyways, that pretty much takes care of my segment.
Sam, you
Not
may as well
really
do the last two. Let's do the last two. Let's knock
Just
them
do
out.
it. Yeah, just do it.
Okay. What I can't even remember what the last two were.
Which one do you want to do, the car or the plane?
Which one?
Which one do you want to do first?
You put up the photo, and I'll go with you. Oh, okay. So that is okay. So what I thought was cool about this car, this was going to be shown also at CES. This is from a German company called Sono Motors, SONO, and they are a solar EV company. They're not really a car company, but they're a solar EV company. So the Scion features a lithium-ion battery, okay, that provides a driving range of up to 158 miles. Okay, so which is kind of on par what it is today. But what's cool about this is, in addition to that battery, this car, as you see it right now, it's kind of like a weird kind of looking bodywork, but you see like the stuff on the hood there. What that is there are 248, they say, solar cells integrated into that body. This allows the car to charge as you're driving during the day, okay, throughout the day. So these solar panels provide an additional range of up to 21 miles a day, okay? Doesn't seem like much, but it does when you start running out of juice in your car, for your little, you're like, shoot, I just went to Temecula and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. You have this and you're driving during the day, you're gonna get 21 extra miles, okay? So and also, if you're doing short jaunts around the city, right, it makes it fully self-sufficient for short distance driving. So that's why then you'll probably never even need to charge it up if you're using it every day for under 20 miles, because you're just running on solar. So you're not, number one, your electric bill is pretty nominal at best, even with EVs, but what they do, your carbon footprint would be pretty much zero, just because you are using solar energy. So the reason I thought this was so interesting is because, everyone's putting solar stuff on their homes, on their roofs and stuff. But, we don't really hear too much about solar powered cars. I mean, we did with those long distance, those, university guys, making those crazy long range lightweight stuff. But in a real usable car, I thought it was kind of cool. And yeah, these cars are a lot heavier. So running everything on solar and, trying to live with every day, it's not realistic, because, you can only get so much power. But 21 miles per day, for someone who's just going to the office and back, I think it works just fine. So anyways, this is called the Scion. I don't know how they're going to get, it's SION, no C. So maybe because Toyota's not marketing Scion anymore, they can use that name.
Good luck on getting the trademark.
But it's a German company, and this they say the price is expected to be about $26,000, which is really affordable. So,
what do you think, Taro?
I think it's cheap. It's cheap for.
No, what about the technology?
What do you think, James?
Well, it's got pros and it's got cons, right? I mean, look, the three
Everything
of us,
has pros and cons, James.
And everyone always interrupts me, don't they, Mr. Matani? Oh, you guy, you bad man. But what I was saying is that we have all grown up in a time where we may have had a car as a child where we didn't have air conditioning in that car. And if you're in that car with a parent, say, on a hot day, there was always a chance you'd forget and sit down on a roasty, toasty belt buckle that'll give you a nice brand for a day or two. I worry that if I had this car, I'd be tempted to always park it out in the sun. So it'd be stinking hot when you got inside the car just to make sure we're charging it. So then you have to put the AC on that then negate that 21 mile per gallon range or 21 mile range.
All you have to do is leave the windows cracked open, tint all the windows, and you're fine.
No,
put
not
one
at
of those
all.
little things on your windshield.
Not at all. It's not going to work. So that's that would be my concern with it. You always want to park it in the sun, and then consequently it'd always be super hot. You'd always have that uncomfortable first couple of minutes before the AC is kicking in.
Yeah, so you would have to park it outside, won't you?
Yes, you can't park it inside, and then you have to be constantly cleaning it because you wouldn't want anyone making any birds or whatever or getting dirt on the deposits on it.
But here's the thing: you could park it inside if you I mean, you could charge it if you have a charger. If there's a charger, if there isn't a charger, you can park it outside to get that extra range, so you wouldn't be stuck. You know what I'm saying?
I like the idea of using the solar cells to power other parts of the car like Nissan does with their solar cells and the Leaf that they use to power the AC units. I like the idea of it powering different portions of the car. I think that having so many on it that integrate to give you the extra range is a good idea, but I think in practicality, I would not see that as a feature for me. I don't have a place to park my car outside. I don't want to park a car in a direct sunlight here in Southern California or in Australia. Even in England in summer, when there's 3 days a year where it gets hot, I don't want to park it outside and go inside.
Sorry, James, but some people have to park it outside when they go to work. They're not, accustomed to getting a covered parking spot. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know many people that go to work these days and drive that car to work at this moment, San Matani. So maybe you just know more people than me.
Okay, well, it's
the Honda Odyssey
COVID time, but when the COVID thing lifts, people.
The Odyssey has that thing where it's solar powered and it's got it's not air conditioning, but it has an air what is it called, like a rejuvenation system where it keeps the air flowing inside and out. Circulation, yeah.
But that doesn't the Odyssey, the solar panels don't power the car, right?
It powers like that thing, I think, though.
Yeah,
it does power,
exactly,
the circulation system.
So this one actually powers the car. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Powering different portions of the car seems like a good idea because then you're not having as many. I mean, how expensive would it be to repair one of the panels if you got in a bump and you had to repair your front bonnet that's covered in 200 solar cells? How much is that bonnet going to cost?
I don't know, but the car itself is 26 grand. So I don't know.
So. Anyway,
I disagree with you, James, that there's plenty of people out here that have to park outside. You go to a shopping, you go shopping or whatever. I mean, you're in an outdoor parking lot. You're going to be parking outside either way. A lot of times.
Okay. I always find a tree and I always find shade, no matter how far away it is. So I'm that guy, Sam.
Okay, you are that guy.
I've got there with my directions in my head. I haven't used my navigation, and I know exactly where the best parking spot is.
You are an animal.
All right, last one, Cadillac.
Okay, so this Cadillac kind of surprised everyone with this, and this got plenty of a buzz too.
Is this another flying car?
Yes, hey, how ahead of the curve are we, man?
Sam and your flying car reports.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
flying car Sam. That's what we're gonna call it from now on.
A couple months ago, they are starting to get more and more. I guess the news buzz is getting more and more frequent. So General Motors, General Motors has a new logo too, by the way. They made their GM a smaller case. I like the old one, but I guess it's
ugly. Yeah.
But I think Mary Barrs is doing a crazy, unbelievable job at GM. So I think she's leading that whole gang really well. So anyways, they showed off this 4-rotor electric passenger drone. And you call these is it eVTOL or eVTOL or but
eVTOL.
Yeah, small e, capital VTOL. And they didn't reveal much about it, unfortunately. They did show it. Flying cars seems to be a fad these days because Cadillac was the first to show this thing, which is really, I think, really cool looking. I don't know if I would quite step into it yet, but it looks like a 1 or 2 seater. You can see the props that make the thing hover. And we hear that Fiat, Chrysler, and Hyundai are also working on their versions of flying. I don't know if you call them flying automobiles, but we'll just call them passenger drones. So
Was this announced at
eVTOL.
CES, did you say?
Yes,
as well?
CES, yeah. Or the virtual CES.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they had one of their execs come and he just kind of talked about it, but that was it. There was nothing really, no big hoopla. They kind of left it in a lot of mystery. But this is it, and we haven't seen it in flight like we did some of the other stuff. But this is the latest Cadillac concept. So I know you guys aren't big fans of flying cars or passenger drones, but
Sam Mitani, Road and Sky.
yeah, road and sky. I like that. I like that. Yeah. So, anyways,
I like it. It's like a big drone.
well, you know why? Because it is.
It is a drone, yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's a big drone. So it looks pretty scary because you don't want to go down, but because I don't think there's much.
Is this your last report, Sam?
Yeah, this could be my last.
Can I show you guys something before our guest joins us?
Because is he on standby?
He had the time messed up, but I want to show you guys something though.
Please.
So we started with the Tokyo Auto Salon, right? So if you guys still go to tokyoautosalon.jp, you can still tour the halls virtually.
Oh, you can now.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I would really recommend you guys trying this because it's. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is like the hall. You choose the hall and you can kind of like walk around.
Go into a booth.
Yeah, I want to check out like Ari Amemiya. Let's see what.
Yeah,
happens.
Ari Amemiya,
how do we,
rotary specialist.
Yeah. So I don't even know how to. Okay, I can look around. How do I walk?
Can you enter
there?
into the booth?
Do I like click on?
There's a something floating right there in front of it. Yeah, that. No.
Yeah, that's my my cursor, my mouse.
No. Floating in front of the booth, Amemiya's booth. See that little panel?
This thing?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, click on that.
Click it.
Man, it's so small.
No, nothing.
I don't even know how to get there. Scroll. Oh, okay. You use the arrows.
Yeah, see there it is. To the left there.
All right.
Can you download? There you go. You can download it.
Okay. Man, this is like they need to work on their UI a little bit. Okay.
I think this seems like it's come straight from like the Lawnmower Man.
What the heck is going on here?
So anyways,
intuitive.
I think you could only download stuff. I don't know.
This looks like you've had a couple of shoujus before you've got into the virtual booth here, Taro, by the look of it.
All right, there we go. Now we can kind of look at the booth from the side. Oh, and you can open a link like this.
I want to know what's happening with the Lada. Go back to the Lada.
Who cares about the Lada?
I know.
I want to know about the Lada. That's the one. Go to the Lada.
I don't want to look at the Lada. I don't want to look.
Yes, Lada. I want to go to the Lada. There we go. The Lada's voice always wins.
Takes you to the...
Oh, it takes you to a PDF. Nice.
Oh, right. Which is usually
what's the details on it?
Japanese technology at its best.
Yeah, this is pretty weird. And you know what? Guys, it's not even filled out.
I know.
No, it was completely blank.
Yeah,
let's see. Let's go to a different. Let's see if we can go to.
Is it going to take us 20 minutes to get there? Is that what's going to happen?
No.
This is just like with all the crowd.
Yeah, this is Taro. This isn't very good audio only podcast material.
No, it's not. But you know what? You get some kind of like weird music though in my headphones. So.
Okay.
So, highly not recommendable.
Okay.
This virtual.
So I'm glad you told everyone to go there, and then we told them not to go there. That's the advice that people need.
And plus, can you even change the language? I mean, everything's in Japanese. I'll only leave room. They only want the English speakers to leave.
Oh, ringneck 12507.
Yeah, you got something going on here. Hey, Jim, you're joining us at the Tokyo Auto Salon.
Fantastic.
All right, I'm gonna log out of this thing so we can start talking to Jim. All right, that was a Tokyo Auto Salon. Done with that.
Okay, so I'm done with my report. So, hey, Jim.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you.
Good to have you.
Good, good.
Yeah, we have the president and co-founder of Formula Drift. We did things a little bit backwards today, but glad to have you on the show, Jim.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How's it going?
I'm all right. Stuck at home, but I'm okay.
Good. James McKeon, I think he's interviewed you before for Car Stories. Sam Mitani,
I think so, yep.
Formerly
Correct.
with Road and Track, big time. So let's get into it.
Heavy hitters.
Let's get into it right away, since our listeners are already listening to us. So Jim, well, congratulations on finishing and actually like getting through a season last year. Thoughts on your season through these challenging times?
No, I appreciate that. I think our main goal in like pivoting all year long and adapting to changing regulations and all that really was to get a season done. The easy thing could have been just to shelf the season. But we felt that, not just for us, but for the competitors and the partners that are involved, that it would put us, dig us a pretty deep hole, negatively affect, teams, which are essentially small businesses and their partnerships and relationships and, income and so forth. With whatever, sacrifices we had to make, whatever, budget adjustments, cuts, et cetera. Again, the goal was to get a season off, and we luckily did. It wasn't, the prettiest necessarily. We went from delaying the start of the season from what would have been April to July to still try to run a 8-round championship. Then we condensed it and made all those, double, triple headers essentially, and took them to 4 rounds instead of to 8 separate venues. We're fortunate that a lot of our venue partners worked with us, shifting dates, moving dates, canceling essentially and shelving till 21. But at the end of the day, we pulled it off. We ran 8 rounds of competition at 4 venues across 13 weeks. We live streamed all of those, and we crowned a champion. Yeah. Unfortunately, 2 of the venues were not able to have fans. But 2 of them did with limited capacity. So, it was, I guess, the best of what we could have had.
Yeah. I mean, it was smart to do the 2 rounds in one weekend. I liked the having the Pro 2 in between as well. Kind of gave the Pro 1 guys the FD Pro guys a break and a little bit of more exposure to the Pro 2 guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we learned from 2020, well, there's a lot of things we learned, and a lot of it was just like trying out new things and adapting to these challenging circumstances. So, like you said, like that actually wasn't the original format. It was, across 3 days, we would have Pro 2 on day 1 and then Pro on day 2 and day 3. So their turnaround time is literally 24 hours from the time they leave track. Whatever crash, broken parts, blown engines, whatever it is, to get everything back together to compete again the next day. And we thought that, we're going into the season finale and we wanted to give that break, like you said. And because there was going to be no fans, it would be good to give the Pro 2 guys some, airtime on a Saturday instead of on a Friday. So we were able to try that. And so we gave, the Pro guys a little bit of breather, and day 1 was Pro, day 2 was Pro 2, and then day 3 was Pro finale.
What was the biggest challenge running an event during this time though?
I wouldn't say it was easy. I mean, we deal with, for those that aren't kind of on the inside of events, aren't on the race team side, at the racetrack, you don't really see a lot of the random fires that kind of happen, right? Like figurative and literal fires that happen. Yeah. So,
that's your job. You're the troubleshooter, right?
Right. We're part-time firefighters. No, so I mean, so adapting to stuff like that, oh look, we have COVID protocols and we need to add an extra layer of screening and all that. That didn't seem daunting. I mean, it was extra work. The real daunting part is just the inconsistencies of things. We thought going into one region we were at 50% capacity, and then it changed, and another region we thought we would have been clear for 50% capacity, and then that changed, and so that makes it really hard to plan things. If you knew that, hey, you're at no capacity, or you could have 50% capacity, you plan things in advance, a month out, 2 months out, but literally going on the fly and changing to those different local regulations just didn't add to it. So we kind of had to have plan and contingency plans, and sometimes there wasn't a contingency plan. You just adapted on the fly. That was the stressful and probably the most challenging part.
What are some of the positive discoveries that you had last season?
Yeah, I think I guess off the top of my head, some of the positive discoveries were the fact that now we know what the dynamics would be if we ever went back to like a double header back-to-back weekend, because of everything from a weather event that canceled the event to pandemic like occurrences that force schedule changes, right? So we learned things like that. People had always talked about, qualifying is really boring to watch, so we were able to try something different. And some of it we probably would revert back, because now you always do like the grass is greener on the other side. Well, we got to kind of taste a little bit of what the other side is, and on some of the some things we would stay there, and some we actually is better back how it was, and some we're kind of meeting in the middle. And okay, we learned, we were able to have experiences in two different scenarios. Let's kind of find a meeting in the middle. So there's a lot of those little things throughout the year.
Will you have qualifying next year?
We will have qualifying. We'll be rolling that out soon. We have a couple of different qualifying scenarios. We're going to be communicating that to teams, and it's also going to be dependent on the total number of entries that we get for the season.
I see. How about some of the new guys, new drivers that entered Formula Drift? It must have been, not only were they rookies and having to figure out left and right, they had to go through 2020. How do you think they coped with everything and got through?
I mean, they actually coped quite well. We left 2019 with a pretty strong top 8 rookie class for 2020, and a number of them migrated over to pro, and it showed that the level of Pro 2 competitors and teams are on the rise. So the transition, they did really well. I think the back-to-back weekends definitely put some stress on teams, and understanding the things that some of the seasoned teams know in terms of preparing themselves and spare parts, and just doing a lot of the maintenance homework overnight, prior to each competition, things like that. There's a lot that was learned from that. But in a interesting way is that it was also beneficial, because some of the rookie teams were debating if they were ready to come to pro, and one of the factors is obviously budget. So now they're going to 4 rounds instead of going to eight events. So just travel costs alone is now kind of cut in half. And so there were a couple of guys I spoke to that were teetering on, I don't know if I could raise the sponsor support to run a full season, but because we compacted it together, they said, now we can. And so now they were able to taste what pro level competition is like. So it's one of those like blessing in disguise moments that, okay, because of COVID, because of 2020, they were able to dip their toe in and get experience that way.
Hey, Jim, I was wondering, how do you guys keep in mind of trying to keep the budget not I wouldn't say low, but manageable for not just the the pro teams, or not just the amateur teams, but the pro teams. Do you guys have that in mind, so you guys could get more people to participate if they have the of course the skills, the means, but not but not having to raise millions and millions of dollars of cash like they would with a different race series. And you guys are big time. You guys are international, so
your timing on that question is impeccable. So we're in the process, and we've announced that we're renaming our Pro 2 series to Pro Spec. And it's not, there's a lot of misperceptions out there, and we're going to do our part to kind of educate the competitor field first, and then obviously fans out there. It's not going to be like spec car, meaning everybody's going to run a spec Ford Mustang, and that's there's 30 of them on track, and that's what it's going to be. But we are creating a cost containment type of formula to be able, so that you almost have two choices when entering into Formula Drift, that you can run more of what a quote unquote unlimited class, which is what pro is, or you can run Pro Spec, which has a lot more limitations, a lot more spec. There's a single tire supplier, things like that. So that again, a lot of it comes down to cost containment, and we have a 3-year vision for that. And even like other race series where we foresee and even encourage that a pro driver can have 2 spec cars, one for Pro Spec and one for pro, and be able to compete in both if they choose. And if an upcoming driver chooses, well, I like the Pro Spec package better, it's more cost effective, maybe it's more about the driver skill than about how exorbitant the build of the car is. Okay, maybe I want to stay there, and I can actually live there. It's an environment I can live in. Pro becomes more of more technology, definitely more expensive to run. But yeah, out, even right? In pro, pardon me?
So that the highest pros, that's going to be just all out, right? Yeah.
Right. Much. Oh yeah, all out to obviously to an extent. Even simple things. To an extent
like, it is now. Yeah.
Right, and even simple things like people didn't understand. So one of the regulations in pros that we have a tire to car weight ratio. Right, the heavier the car, the wider the tires you can use. The lighter the car, the narrower the tires you use. It's kind of a manageable but simple way to keep costs down, in the sense that, well, of course, if you have the budget, you can have the most power and the lightest car and run on the stickiest, widest tires available. So all that is a combination for a very high end competition vehicle. Whereas if you pull, kind of balance it out a little bit. So yeah, I don't need to go spend tons of money on custom carbon fiber parts to lighten the weight of the car, so that I can still have the power and the wide tires. So things like that we put in place, as we want to still have some room for creativity. Obviously that's the spirit of drifting, different combinations of chassis and engine packages, but with some restraint to make it manageable.
That's a really great idea. I think that's awesome. And I think you're going to get really fierce driving, fierce competition, just because everyone's going to be so much, driving the same kind of, same, not spec car, but, similar spec car. So yeah, I think that is awesome. And do you think that's going to invite a lot more people into the sport?
We hope, and that's really the goal of that. And we saw that in the last 2 seasons, we slowly been trickling, hints of that, these in the regulations. And this past season, we had essentially a single tire supplier. Everybody ran on the same size tire, all season, and it was one of the most competitive, Pro 2 seasons we've had. So those were signs that, look, I think there's a few other parts of the car, other modifications that we can kind of put into a more specific box, and again, kind of hopefully to level out the competition a little bit, but also to cost containment. Because what you don't want is, you don't want an up and coming driver that has a lot of passion and enthusiasm to come join the ranks and move their way up, and they feel the need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to build what a, you know, RTR or a Papadakis Racing caliber car in order to feel that they can come compete, and everything goes into the car, and there's really nothing left to run the team, to maintain the team, and so forth. And those kind of you know, instances makes a driver come in and leave the series very quickly.
Yeah. What do you think? This is a hypothetical, but like, I think that the level of the cars and the drivers have like really grown, right? Since when you started, when, you know, we first started. What if like Rhys Millen from like, when did you guys start? 2004? Four? If Rhys Millen today came out with the car that he drove and tried to compete today, how do you think he would do against the other guys that are on track right now?
I think it'd be tough. You know, I think guys like Rhys and like Tanner are definitely, you know, world class caliber drivers. So I think them from a driving skill standpoint, they would be able to adapt. Definitely the top half of the field is way more competitive than it was, you know, during the first, you know, 5-10 years of the series.
Yeah.
But the advancement and the, you know, the vehicle dynamics of the cars is much different. So they would definitely be, you know, not be bringing the most advantageous, you know, tool to the battle.
Yeah. I mean, back then, I don't think there were the regular, well, obviously the power, you know, the suspension setup. We know so much more about the sport than we did back then, right? So not like, you know, I'm not saying like Rhys doesn't have the skills to compete. Like you said, I think he would be if he were, you know, put inside a machine, you know, a current day machine. What do you think the biggest evolvement has been in the sport, though? Like, what's changed the most?
I mean, I think the natural progression of you know, vehicle technology is a natural progression in any you know, kind of mechanized, you know, motorized sport. But what I feel is I guess the growth or the maturity of the sport, if we're to talk in that standpoint, is really it's team operation. And you see there's something consistent about the you know, the top tier teams, the most successful teams. There's some operational formula that they have that creates consistency, that they're just that much more prepared, that they think through prior to getting to the track. They think through what has happened at the track. They log everything, that they understand every situation that they're getting in. They work on preparing and anticipating scenarios that they would get in, and then they're just prepared for that. I think anybody that's watched the series the last couple of years is just amazed, right, by you know, just the things that happen to like the Papadakis team, and how quickly are they able to get a vehicle back on track. I think if you were to even think about, well, 10 years ago, how many teams, let alone even competitors today, right? How many competitors or how many teams in the current field today, and also how many competitors in the field 10 years ago would be able to pull off, you know, the engine swaps and, you know, just the fixes that they're able to fix. You know, I think 10 years ago, I would say maybe one, if that. You know, now it's not even, I wouldn't even say a majority of the teams would be able to do what they do. So as more teams are able to do that, because I think drifting, you know, a part of drifting success is it's a battle of attrition, right? And so if your car can't stay on the track, then you have no tool, you have no weapon, and you have no weapon for the fight, so there's no fight. So the more teams that are able to function like that, and to be able to fix and use competition timeouts and get their cars back on track and be competitive and make it to the next round, the competition field is just going to become that much more competitive.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
While you're on this subject, and this might be something people go, what the heck is he talking about? But if you look at the crystal ball and stuff, you see, like Teslas and Porsche Taycans, and, we've seen hybrids and like EVs and stuff. Where do you see, will Formula Drift will it be able to adapt to this changing car technology, or are we just going to always see these classic gasoline burning cars competing? Where do you see, how do you see that?
I think there's definitely room for that. A couple of seasons ago, a team brought out an all electric, vehicle in essentially a Camaro shell. I think they were leaps ahead of what's to come, but I think it definitely showed what was possible, and I think a lot was learned from that. It still comes down to durability, right? Like, can you do a couple of demo laps in full drift in an all electric car? Yes, that's been proven that you're able to do that. Now, what happens throughout a 16 car bracket, a 32 car bracket competition, and going through multiple heats and battles again and again and again and again? Can you make it through without some part breaking along the way? And one thing that they saw was that because of electric motors being direct drive and just transferring power so quickly, axles are snapping left and right. So those are like, just one of probably many things that haven't been experienced. So yeah, there's, long story short, I think there's room for that. I think there is the possibility of either running them together side by side. So it's a mix like it is now, right? We have, old cars and new cars and 4 doors and 2 doors and superchargers and, turbochargers all together. Can a, all electric combination compete and be a part of it? Possibly. Maybe the first step is an all electric class of vehicles. That's also, possible as well. And as we see more people kind of tinker with that setup and seeing what they've learned from that, I think the opportunity will be there to add something like that. But there's just not a lot of them out there right now.
Oh yeah, I'm looking like pretty much years down the future, because look, there's not that, when you look at all the gasoline powered vehicles being sold, and the electric EVs are pretty small percentage of it, but it is getting bigger, right? And at some point, they're saying, in the next 10 years or 7 years or whatever, it'll probably be mostly EVs that are being sold at the dealership. So at some point, I think Formula Drift is going to have to adapt a little bit, and like you said, maybe adding a new EV class where, and as the years go by, I think the EV technology is going to get better. So they might fix that axle snapping problem and stuff like that. So, but you are open to seeing Formula Drift adapt and keep carrying on with the times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think new technology and disruption is like an on and off switch, right? Like, oh, suddenly everything, gas powered, we're going to phase that out of Formula Drift, and then next year suddenly it's going to be an all electric series. Well, I don't think it's always like that. I think a lot of it is, there's lots of little baby steps to add, and it may not be, it's not always so absolute where like one has to leave in order for another to come. I think they're always
on the next day or something.
Yeah, and I think that's where people start freaking out.
Yeah. Well, look at Pikes Peak, right? I mean, look at Pikes Peak. I mean, first, when electric cars came out, people were like freaking out, but they're in there too.
Now they're
something for everyone.
They're almost a common sight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Jim, tell us about the new schedule that you guys recently just announced. So usually you guys kick off your season with the Long Beach Grand Prix, but with the Long Beach Grand Prix being pushed to the fall, you guys had to do a little bit of adjustments, and just walk us through what the fans are going to see this year.
Sure. So yeah, definitely one of the things learning, what we learned from 2020 is to, be able to adapt the schedule. One of the things that as we're mapping this out was what regions are currently, as of today, are open, and give ourselves some room for in case of further adjustments. We kind of met in the middle. Could we have been super conservative and started the season much later than we are? Yes, but I think regions like Georgia and Florida are are more open, right, than say California.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to kind of stick with that schedule. And like you said, one of the dominoes that we were waiting to fall was the Long Beach Grand Prix in April.
Mm-hmm.
And early on we had heard, well, there's talks of, are they going to be able to get the sign off and the clearance to be able to run in April? Is California even going to be clear enough to be able to run? Vaccines, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we were kind of holding our breath and waiting and working with them and getting, we got behind the scenes, information, because we work hand in hand with them,
Mm-hmm.
and because we have to work with the city and so forth. So when they started going down the path of trying to get approval to go into end of September, we held back on releasing the schedule and made room to adjust for that. And luckily, because of our partnership with the Grand Prix, we're always kind of that back-to-back weekend. The city approved it, the convention center, and all the parties involved knew that we were going to be tagging along with it. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of our biggest, if not the biggest, events of the year. So it's hard to say no and not have that. So we moved with that. And then so
Okay.
because of that, we start in May at Road Atlanta. It's the first time we've it was the first event of the Formula Drift series, in 2004.
Back in the
So
day,
starting
yeah.
there, it's a great big event.
Mhm.
We love the venue. It's one of the long-standing venues there. We start on our kind of our East Coast swing. We go to Orlando towards the end of May, go up to Englishtown, which we were anticipating last year, but luckily we'll be there in June. Raceway Park essentially shut down drag racing operations, and they've paved what looks kind of like a figure eight, but we've expanded the width of the drag strip and turned it essentially into a drifting arena. We have grandstands on both sides. Cars
That's
will be
awesome.
coming through the tunnel by the start line. So we'll be there in June. Then we head to a new venue, Lake Erie Speedway.
Yeah.
So Erie, Pennsylvania. It gets a little bit closer to the Midwest. You're, in reach from, major markets like Detroit. Even if borders open up and fans wanted to come down from Toronto, they can get there very easily. It's a touristy area. It's great to be there in the middle of July. So, good family time and for fans and so forth. At the end of July, we go to Evergreen Speedway, which has been on our calendar for a while.
Yeah.
And then we make a quick kind of like halfway swing back, at the end of August to St. Louis, to Worldwide Technology Raceway. And then we come back for 2 final Southern California stops, which ideally we didn't want. We'd like to have them bookends, but again, they're 2 of the biggest events that we have. And it's hard to not put them on the calendar. So late September, we're on the streets of Long Beach. And then 5 weeks later, at the end of October, we're in Irwindale Speedway. And so it still gets us our 8-round season. And then ideally, we'd like to wrap it up before the SEMA show. So we're able to do that as well.
Cool. And Pro 2 is now called the Link ECU Pro Spec, as you mentioned earlier, right? And
that's correct.
And when will which of one of these rounds are along with? Okay, so Orlando,
Englishtown, yep. St. Louis and Irwindale.
I don't know, Jim. I guess just because I'm a West Coast guy, but to me, the home of drifting is Irwindale. Just because it's first place I saw it. It just seems like that's where everything kind of grew from to me, even though I'm a West Coast guy. And then of course Long Beach, because it was always there with the Grand Prix. So I'm glad those are both in there.
Yeah, we always try to do as much homework as possible. We surveyed the sponsors, we surveyed the teams, we surveyed even fans that, is 2 events in Southern California too much for you? There's some overlap of fans that go to both events. So we wanted to kind of make sure that we gauge the temperature of what they felt. And, we had a couple of dates as an option for Irwindale, and this was the one that I think the majority, everybody wanted to hone in on. And again, it serves as we get this done. before the SEMA show. A lot of the teams are tied into aftermarket companies, so they can, service those relationships, bring their cars to the SEMA show, all that kind of stuff. And they have obligations that's related to that. So so luckily we're able to squeeze all that in, make that work.
It's awesome.
That's great. I was going to ask you something. I forgot. I was going
You're
to
getting
ask you
old,
something.
that's why.
I know. I was just listening to Jim's SEMA thing. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that is true. I mean, a lot of drivers, they go and do their meet and greets. They report their accomplishments, obviously, right, at the SEMA show, and they try to get that next year sponsorship going. So, yeah, I'm glad your last event is before the SEMA show. A lot for these drivers' sakes too. Oh, I was going to ask you this. So a lot of these events, you had no crowd, you had no fans, and so live stream obviously was a big component of your exposure this year, right? And obviously next year you're going to be continuing live streaming all of these events. First of all, how did you get more viewers this year because of all of this, or did you get, was it the same? How did you do with the live stream?
We definitely had a growth of digital content views. Like you guys have here, like the library that's on YouTube. We have tons of custom content, pieces, short clips and things like that. And also we have the long form, which is the live stream. We saw great numbers just off the bat. With our kind of first and second round in St. Louis, and people were hungry. Globally, every drifting series was shut down. I think we were one of the first, if not the first, to come back, even to limited fans or no fans. So I think the hunger and the appetite was there. Hopefully, we can sustain that. Post COVID, and as things start to open up again, sustain those numbers. We hope that we've brought viewers in that maybe have never watched or didn't watch on a consistent basis before. And we hope to, keep them for this coming season.
How about Formula Drift Japan? Are you guys, where's my Formula Drift Japan?
Oh, nice.
Are you guys going to continue with Japan?
Yeah, the partnership that we have in operating that series is going to continue. Interesting enough, they're instituting a Pro 2 Pro Spec second series to basically feed drivers into their primary series. They ran events, all 2020, with limited fans and so forth. And for 2021, I think they just announced their calendar. But yeah, we will be, continuing our partnership with them, and they'll be, running events as well.
Cool. James, do you have, you've been quiet. Do you have anything to add? Any questions?
No, I'm just listening. I'm just really excited with how things went, Jim, and last year. I mean, the 2020 season, obviously, with you guys dropping it down to the 4 double events was fantastic, being able to manage that in the fly. And as you said, the content you guys were able to create, the streaming was fantastic, and the ability to sort of mix it up and change it around the way you did, I thought was fantastic. I'm just looking forward to seeing how things progress in 2021 and what you guys keep and where you go forwards from there. I mean, I guess, obviously, I think this is going to be, it's going to be no, but I think it'd be awesome to see like a vintage series. If you could bring a vintage series back where we had like older cars that were like capped at like 400 horsepower. I mean, that'd be great. That's what we want to have, just running between the brakes. Maybe even just for demo runs between the brakes. I think that'd be where it was at. It'd be awesome.
When Dai retires, he can get in his Hachiroku and compete.
Exactly,
in the
vintage series. Yeah, exactly.
It's an all S13 series.
Exactly, probably, yeah. And everyone has to like be delivering food all the way through. That's it, strictly Tokyo, and that's the way it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hachiroku and S13s, old RX-7s, only cars that were featured in Initial D.
Exactly.
Jim,
that's the only way to keep it.
Speaking of old school, Jim, do you have any concerns that a lot of these cars now, I mean, we were surprised when a car comes out with a manual transmission, right? These days. And, these sequential stuff, gearboxes aren't really necessarily that inviting for drifting, right? So is there a concern that, hey, man, I mean, these manual transmissions are going, I mean, this is not good? Or is it something you go, nah, I mean, this is something that, the pure classicists, the pure guys love doing. So we're good. We have our niche, but does that concern you at all? That there's the manual transmission is pretty much dying.
Gone.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah,
Well,
you're right. There's a little bit of both there, right? There's the, less and less manual transmission means that a person wanting to get into drifting really has to dig into, the used car lot, the junkyard to be able to, find a vehicle with manual transmission, to be able to get it running, and then to be able to take it to the track and try it out. Versus maybe something that you can buy new and mess around on weekends with. So that is concerning in that way. Is it concerning on like the pro tier? Not necessarily, because the purpose-built vehicles anyways, and there's so much modification that goes into these cars, but you definitely can't ignore step one. And in order for us to have more new drivers feeding into the series, new blood, new enthusiasts, new weekend warriors that are going drifting and things like that. Like we need that, right? That's directly, indirectly, intangible part of us as a series. Like to have that is really important. And so it's concerning in that sense that if it's less and less, or if it's more difficult for someone to get started, even if they're just trying to do it for fun, does that lessen the number of people that are into drifting, that know about drifting, that want to come and watch? There is a little bit of a concern.
Yeah. Now that's what always kind of hit the back of my mind, is when a lot of these cars are just like, they're not offering manual transmissions, and I'm going, holy man, you can't drift this. I can't, like when I'm, I can't impress someone by drifting through a quarter, on a parking lot, not a public road. Everyone's calm down. But because it's a lot more dangerous without the manual transmission, because you gotta build up some speed to get that, and especially if you don't have a pull handbrake, right, an e-brake, you got to just do it on power on, right? And that's kind of hard. So or dangerous, because you could run, you could lose control. So anyways, I'm glad that there are, hopefully guys like you will keep these manufacturers saying, hey, let's include a manual transmission, because they say the next Z is going to have a manual transmission, which is good, because that could be a new generation drift car, right? For the next for this coming few years. So cool.
For sure. Before we let you go, any other?
I do have a question for Joe. It's been killing me, and I think a lot of the people who are watching are probably going, dang it, which one is there? Unless they're really good. What track map is that on the back here behind you?
Jim? Oh, here.
Yeah.
Road Atlanta. So I don't know.
Wait, okay. The one I see on this side of you, right? Or this? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have two, right?
Right.
So
I see two, but I can't see one of them because it's right behind you.
Okay. So that one, I think, if I'm pointing at that. So that's Road Atlanta.
Okay. Road
and
Atlanta.
then they sell these like cutouts, but we had one made that has a little horseshoe at the turn 10A and turn B complex, which is the drifting sector.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right. So that's cool. And then
track map. Okay.
Yeah, and then that one over there is Yas Marina, one of our international trips, where on this end is their North complex,
right?
And that's where we had
what track is it?
Yas Marina. In Abu Dhabi.
No wonder why I couldn't recognize it. I've never driven it. I've never been there. So I'm going, where the heck, what track map is that? It was killing me. So, and if you were watching me, I was kind of looking down. I was on my phone trying to find what track that was, and I couldn't find it. So, okay.
Sam, we just had to ask. That was it. I would have been able to tell you.
Oh, would you have known?
Yes.
James? Oh, you are the man. Well, you're our race expert, so that's why. So, okay. Well, thanks, Jim. It had nothing to do with Formula Drift. I just wanted to.
No, it has everything. We've been to both.
It does now, right? Yeah.
Well, Formula Drift's been to Abu Dhabi, though.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Taro was on that trip.
Oh, you went to Abu Dhabi on that one?
Yeah, we all went to Yas Marina for that
awesome.
exhibition event.
Did you guys, were you guys able to hit up Dubai? I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, we had one day.
Yeah.
On one day in Dubai? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was a fun trip. We need to do more of those, Jim.
Dude, that's
Right.
that's a long ways, man. That's a heck of a plane ride. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a long ride.
Oh yeah,
All
so
right.
I'm good.
Okay.
James?
No. So we just obviously have flipped through. We've obviously got
Yeah.
Formula Drift at formuladrift.com, and you've got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everything else where you seem to kill it on the social media game with the team there. Jim, you're doing a very good job.
Well, Jim,
Thank you.
I just like to say, hey, hats off to you because, you know, I mean, you guys have kept this thing going. I mean, you guys have, it's way past what a lot of people dismissed it as a fad. It's it not only has legs, I mean, it's here to stay. I think you've pretty much outlasted D1, right?
Of
And I
course.
mean, you guys are, yeah. So I mean, hats off to you, Jim. I mean, great job, and I look forward to see how you guys will keep innovating and keep people tuned in, keep people interested in developing young talent. I think it's great what you're doing. It's going to be something to watch as we go forward. So congratulations.
Thank you. I totally appreciate that. Now, like I said in the beginning, I mean, really, the 17 seasons now going on 18 is really about, kind of caretaking the sport. And yes, there's a lot of people that, thought it was a fad. And that's why kind of 2020 was a good test of that. And that if this was simply just a business, there's, business decisions could have been made differently than what resulted. And I think we did it for, not just the sake of ourselves, but the sake of the sport. And hopefully these decisions go a long way to continue the longevity of the series and the sport. And, some things are in our hands and some things are not, but the ones that are in our hands, we hope that we continue to make the right decisions.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, exactly what you say. I mean, you guys brought D1 to the States, but I really think you guys were able to take the kernel and actually grow it. It's drifting is worldwide as it is because of you guys right now.
The business side, yeah, you guys did a great job. So
congratulations.
Well, hopefully I'll run into you in one of the events when we open back up, Jim. So.
Oh my God, come on.
Anyone
let's get over this.
Yeah, all right, sounds good, man. All right, Taro, what are we gonna do? We only have one section, which is Jim's review of the what car is it, Jim?
The Lexus
UX.
Yes.
So Jim, if you'd
like to stay. If not,
no, Jim said he's out of here.
I'm going to tune in as a fan. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Talk to you, man. See you.
Thanks,
Good seeing you. Bye.
All right, let me get this up. So what I had this week is the Lexus UX F Sport. So this is what I had my hands on for this past week. So
it's a good looking car.
It is a good looking car. Yeah. I mean, I like it. It's very stylish. The inside is definitely where this car stands out. The interior on this Lexus is impeccable, as every Lexus is, but it's the idea that you could get this at this price point for $35, $35,000, not $35, is truly, truly impressive. I mean, it's as good as any Lexus interior that I've been in throughout the whole range, starting from all the way up to the LS. The only thing it's missing is the massaging seats, but the interior of this car is truly a work of art. And as Taro said, the outside isn't too bad either. One thing that I do particularly like about this car in particular, as we get through there, is the wheels. So there's my picture there. I thought the wheels were very, very good. Most of the Lexus wheels I'm not always a fan of because they like to go with the chrome on some of the models, which isn't my cup of tea. I think that's more of a San Matani look than me.
But, I'm not a chrome guy either, but it's okay, whatever.
but the interior of this vehicle is good. I mean, this is very similar to what I've got. Obviously, I've got the dark metallic gray version of this, but this actually comes from the Toyota Corolla crossover platform, is what the UX is based on. And we know it here, obviously, more so with the CHR. There is a price difference, obviously, between the two. If you're looking for something similar, obviously it's not going to be exactly spec the same because the Lexus is a much more luxurious take on it. There is around a $10,000 difference in the price tag there. This one retails at $35,000. If you're looking at something similar on the CHR, it's coming in at around 27,000. So there is certainly a price difference between the two, but the Lexus variant is coming in a touch more powerful, around 100. This version's around 160 horsepower, is around 145 horsepower for the Toyota, and the interior really, really does make a difference. I mean, the seats truly are a work of art. The only downside I will say with this being it's a small 2 liter and 3,300 pounds, give or take. So if you've got this at 3,300 pounds, you've got 2 adults, 2 kids, a dog in the back. I mean, it's pushing a good weight there. And so the 10 speed does tend to get a little loud if you're pressing the loud pedal to maybe merge onto the freeway or keep it up at freeway speeds. It does get a little loud, more so just with changing the gears. Once you're up to those speeds, it's a Lexus, so you don't really hear that sound. But the action of getting up there to speed it does take some time. Also, obviously, being it's only 160 odd horsepower, it's getting to 60 in around 9 seconds. So it's not probably the most sprightly thing out and around.
Yeah.
But once you're inside, it's cool. It's like very pleasant interior, obviously comfortable, stylish. So once you're up running errands around town, which is where I put like around 150 miles on it, give or take, maybe close to 200 miles in the last week. It gets picked up tomorrow. I mean, it's a good little car. It's right at 35,000. But the trade-off with that, obviously, is the last car I had was the Toyota RAV4 Prime. And it'd be the difficult one saying which one would you take. This one is obviously a much more luxurious version, drives better than the RAV4, but the RAV4 will be a real difficult one to change to step away from because the electric option there, where you've got the 40 miles of range purely electric.
Right.
What's the biggest competitor for this car?
I mean, look, I'd still say Toyota's a big competitor with the CHR as one that's going against it. I mean, that's 25. I mean, you could look at any car in this range. A Corolla would still be going against it at this size and scale. I mean, it still is basically a 4-door, small, compact car. This one's obviously at the height, so it's made it a little bit raised up. But if I've got it in the garage next to the Fiat, I mean, there's not much height difference. And this is like meant to be like a CUV, like not an SUV, but not a compact.
So James, overall, is it a thumbs up? One of your favorites? It sounds like you're giving it a glowing review. So
it's a good car, but I don't know if I think the $35,000 price point makes it difficult to pill to swallow. So I think while it is a good car, it makes it a little bit of an oddball type of car, which is an unusual thing to say, because it's styled well, but at $35,000, it is very expensive coming in at that market. But you do get.
Would you take the RAV4 more than?
Yeah, I'd take the RAV4 over this because you get a little bit more space. You get the electric, you get more power. It's a bit easier to get. You can get people in and out a little easier. So at the RAV4 at 38, minus the government rebates and so forth, brings it down around 32, 33. It probably is, for me, it'd be a better option than this if we're looking at in market.
And the RAV4 is bigger, right? Because that's the NX kind of equivalent to the Lexus.
But it is very incredible how they can get this interior that seems to be just as good as any Lexus up to the LS model inside this UX. I mean, the interior is truly exquisite. Those leathers, so it's fantastic. I love it.
Okay, well, that's gonna. Sorry for cutting you off, James. That's gonna have to do it for us this week. We kind of went over, so thank you, James.
Quite all right. I know Sam's got someplace to go, so we should.
No, it's not me. It's Taro. But anyways, thank you guys. It was awesome talking to Jim, and we wish the best luck to Formula D. So hope you guys will visit us in 2 weeks. James McKeown, No Braking. Please
new podcast every Wednesday.
New podcast every Wednesday. GT channel, new content all the time on their videos, and my novel will be coming out later this year. So
check it out.
So everyone, see you later, and see you in a couple of weeks. Goodbye.
All right. See you next time. See you guys. Bye.